Yeah.
Hey, little bet between me and you.
Let's do
Team
it.
that wins, the other loser has to wear a big hat on this show.
I like where your head's at.
That's
Okay,
right.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right,
With
now.
my hairline, I need big hats.
Yeah, you do. That's right.
That did not end well for me.
Yeah, the
Because Chris Sims, the Giants, and the referees in that game conspired to make sure I'm wearing a big hat.
That's right.
Big hat. Brian Robinson will be joining our show later in the week as well. And so...
Good, put it on. I'm glad it's you because I got my hair. I can't do that. My hair's not.
I'm
Mine
a dealer's choice. You want me in black or white?
Let's go with the white, actually. With your outfit, I think it'll match better. I like that better.
Fair enough.
Wow, look at this. Whoa.
So it took us a while. By the way, everyone laughed at Brian Robinson for wearing it in that post game, and he's a genius because now they're everywhere.
Yes.
Everyone's doing it.
Yes.
And we had to pay this bet off now because we literally couldn't get it the next week in time.
They
for
were
football
sold
night.
out, right?
Yes. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
So, anyway.
Anyhow.
And by the way, my hairline actually looks pretty good.
You're right.
With this. It's
You've been-
fantastic.
An improvement.
Yeah. No one. I might just wear this the rest of the show.
Right.
The rest of the week because it's you no longer go hey, what's going on with the bald guy? Now you're who's the guy with the big hat?
Right.
I might wear this out tonight.
Try it out. Try it. Let's see.
Anyway.
I'm sure people will take you really serious in these interviews.
Should we talk about another
No one
thing?
takes me seriously in any of these interviews. But
What do you got to talk about?
Should we talk about another thing that Chris Sims beat you on?
Sure.
Joe
by all
Burrow,
means.
Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Let's talk about it.
There was a little discussion. Let's hear it from preseason.
Oh, we got a flashback, too.
You and I are going to be in a fantasy league this year.
Right.
Who would you rather have, Joe Burrow or Tom Brady?
I mean, Joe Burrow all day. Tom Brady
Over
could
Tom
never.
Brady?
Well, in real life, it's not even close.
Don't take the bait, Matthew. We're going to break. Do not take the
Joe
bait.
Burrow was in the
I've
Super
dealt
Bowl,
with this. I've
and
dealt with
Tom
this.
Brady wasn't.
I've had this
Sorry.
fight with him.
The first
Joe
year,
Burrow's
I've
had
had
this fight with him.
Tom Brady's not.
Don't let him do it
All
to you.
day, every day, I'm taking Burrow over Brady.
Burrow or Aaron Rodgers?
What?
Burrow or Aaron
I'm
Rodgers?
taking Burrow right now. 100%. Burrow's one of the five best quarterbacks
at
in
least
the
he's
game.
consistent.
The views and opinions of Chris Sims do not reflect the opinions of this show.
Interesting set back then. Looks like an
yeah,
X-Men
it-
film. I don't know what's going on
Set
there.
was a work in progress.
Maybe
but,
you should say that they do reflect the shows.
I
now.
was just going to say, first off, it's clear that this segment was produced by Chris Sims.
It's all right. I'm sure we have some.
But yeah, listen, good kudos to you. A great call because obviously both fantasy and real life, Burrow had the better year than Rodgers or Brady. And by the way, not close. And, I mean, I thought that was a crazy take back then based on I thought Burrow was good, but I didn't think he would take the step that he did this year in the way that he did, and I didn't think Rodgers or Brady would fall off the way that they did.
I didn't either. I was nervous from the fantasy aspect with that comment. The fantasy aspect, I didn't think you were crazy there. I understood what you were saying.
Well, especially with Rodgers, it was okay, that makes sense just because he lost Devontae Adams, and we don't know if these rookie wide receivers are going to step up. But with Brady, what's weird is that to me, Brady still looked like Tom Brady. Other massive injuries on the offensive line. Godwin started slow, and then Evans got hurt, and the passing attempts were there. Just from a fantasy perspective, the passing attempts were there for Brady and everything.
Yeah.
The offense was still the same. They couldn't score any touchdowns.
No, they could not. No.
But
he'd still, like you said, he could still throw at Brady and do that. He needs a certain formula around him to be able to do that. And that's what I was, fantasy and reality don't always match up the right way. Burrow, to me, was clearly in reality before the season. To me, just my experience of the game, I saw it all going upward where I was like, ooh, I got more the sense at the end of last year that he had finally cracked the code, right?
Yep.
It wasn't like a 1 year, 1 year wonder type of thing. I kind of felt like, oh, no, he's gotten comfortable and it's only going to get better here with some of those weapons around. And sun shines in a dog's ass every now and then.
Listen. It was a great call. Listen, I'm wearing the big hat. When I'm wrong, and I'm happy to admit it and fall on the sword. And you saw just a monster year coming from Joe Burrow that I did. I mean, I thought he was going to be good. I had him ranked inside my top 10, but I didn't have him ranked inside my top 3 or 4. And so
the thing with Burrow too is week 1 he throws 5 picks against Steelers, then really struggles against Dallas, and then after that moment he was basically the second best quarterback in the NFL, I think, behind Patrick Mahomes. But we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Feels like a topic we should hit at some point. But first, let's zoom out a little bit. I want to talk about the playoff bracket to this point. So we take a look at the final full playoff bracket, and which teams are disappointed in the postseason. Does anything leap out from that, Cris, in terms of just teams that underwhelmed?
No, well, I can't say that I really look at it and go teams that underwhelmed. I think the Final Four were the only thing that I thought the Bills might be there just because of the injuries on the Bengals offensive line, right? But the Bills weren't good enough to take advantage of that. I don't know if there's really been any surprises, and I'm not trying to sit here and pat myself on the back, but I think to this point I'm like 11-1 picking these games, but I don't think this is that crazy. I'm not trying to say, I think this year was a year that was kind of chalk. The only game that I thought was like kind of a toss-up, at least, in the divisional round, was the Bills-Bengals.
Yes.
Giants-Vikings, I don't think it was a shock to anybody, right? But
no, upsetting. Like a three-point line.
Exactly. So the rest of the playoffs, I think, have kind of gone. I don't think anything crazy has happened. It's been underwhelming a little on the NFC side, just the way it shook out as far as the Eagles and the Niners game, right?
Yeah, no,
right.
100%. So listen, you were right on Burrow over Brady, and you were right with your Giants beating my Commanders.
Where this is going.
You were wrong, however, about Jalen Hurts. You were actually, Chris Sims, you were actually trending on Twitter today.
I heard, right. I just heard that. I haven't been on Twitter today.
Yes, which is smart. Stay off it. But so my question is like, first off, like, Jalen Hurts was my ride or die, and I know in the beginning of the year you questioned whether he could be the franchise quarterback. In fairness to you, that was a question a lot of people had, especially in Philadelphia. Why didn't they? I remember in the draft, and they didn't take a quarterback, and
right.
So
there's a reason they were in conversations for the quarterbacks that were on the market the last few years. Right. But yeah, so, you were all over it.
Jalen Hurts was my ride or die. I was all in, and I did think he could take that third-year leap. But my question is like, I just wanted to give you the forum just to address that at all in terms of Jalen Hurts, because I think that the narrative is that you hate Jalen Hurts.
I know.
And I have had conversations with you privately. I know that is not the case.
No, it's not. I have tremendous respect for what he has done. I'm just trying. Listen, you guys know me well enough to know I studied the game. I really work at it. I know I'm not always right, and maybe this is one I'm not going to be right about. We'll see. But where it's become a little bit of where it became a hot button topic with the Michael Parsons comment a few weeks ago, right? When he was kind of like, I don't know, is it Hurts or is it the team, right? And that's all I've kind of trying to say. Hey, he's taking advantage and done a great job. He's obviously a big-time starting quarterback in football. I was wrong with my preseason ranking, all of that. But we've got into a thing now here where we're going, and statistically in the fantasy world and all that, hey, it's awesome. Right. I know, I get
amazing.
it. But now we're putting him in the class, to me, of a group of guys that I don't think he's there yet. That's all I'm saying. What I'm trying to tell people a little bit is playing quarterback for the Eagles is one of the easier jobs at quarterback in football right now.
But isn't the counter to that, like,
right?
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But isn't throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd with Joe Mixon and also a pretty good a pretty good gig in the NFL?
There's no doubt. I know, but no rushing attack there. We still know that they were one of the worst pass protecting teams in football. And they play through him completely. Where I would go, they don't play through Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. They have an offense, and he is an important part of it that makes them more dangerous, right? But in every big drive in the year, we can go back through it. Every big drive, you know what they do in those big drives? Hand the ball off. Every big one. And all I'm trying to say is, again, he's really good, but when you run up the middle for 8 and run up the middle for 8 and then throw a wide open RPO, slant route, and A.J. Brown runs for 20 yards, and then it's run up the middle for 8, and then it's, hey, jump ball to A.J. Brown. That is different to me than what we're seeing Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert do. And all I'm just trying to say is he's not in that class yet. Those guys can run, I think, almost to the capabilities he can run. But people don't want to give them credit. And I go, well, yeah, because they don't have to. They don't have to bring that element of the offense because they do other things at such a high level that they don't have to take the risk of hurting their quarterback's shoulder and, is he going to be right for the Super Bowl? So that's all I'm trying to say. But, man, I am getting my butt beat by people on social media.
Well, listen, I'm not, luckily, because I've been on a Jalen Hurts, and I believe in him as a franchise quarterback, as a number one. And I said he would make a Josh Allen-like leap, and he has. Chris Sims, we have to let you go.
All right,
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We'll check you out on Pro Football Talk. You can yell at him on Twitter at @CSimsQuarterback.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.